I'm Lisa Welchel, and here on Collector's Call, we see some incredible collections. Today, I'm virtually visiting Morgan Hambrick, whose family runs a galaxy-spanning museum devoted to the one and only Man of Steel.
And my dad sort of retired, and so me and my husband have been running the museum and raising a family, and we get to talk to people about Superman and collecting every day and truth, justice, and the American way.
I'm joined by renowned movie and TV expert and Collector's Call favorite, Rob Klein.
Superman means a great deal to me. He's a role model. We all want to try to be like Superman.
Here's something we weren't able to show you on TV. Morgan, looks like you have more than a collectible with you now. Who's this?
This is my father, Jim Hambrick.
The man, the Superman himself.
Hello.
So what has he brought to show us?
He has brought us 2 George Reeves screen-worn ties.
Now, is this like Clark Kent tie?
He did wear them as Clark Kent, and then he also wore them personally.
How did you get them?
Whitney Ellsworth, who produced the show, donated a lot of things to Cal State Fullerton in Fullerton, California. And they went to the library. They were kind of mistreating things, and they were kind of like checking them out like you would check out a book. I was able to check out the George Reeves costume, and they didn't even have my name or registered at any point. So I went to the Register newspaper in Orange County, California, and said, you can't do this. You made a promise to the producer that you were going to take care of things. You're not taking care of it. So they ultimately had an auction. I was a bidder at the auction and just took everything. A lot of Clark Kent and Superman clothing that they'd had in a gray box. It sat there for about 20 years before I even knew it was there.
So you bought these 2 ties in a lot of other things from Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah, and they had an auction and they advertised it. Not a lot of people showed up due to the advertising, which was poorly written. So
lucky for you. I'm so glad that he got this in the auction so that he could preserve it. I mean, it belongs with him. You have not gotten into this to make money. You have made a lot of money because you have made some really good investments by just collecting these things for the love of it, for the love of Superman, for the legacy of Superman, for generations after generation. Do you remember how much you paid for the lot from Cal State Fullerton?
It was up in the 5,000 plus category.
If you were to pull the ties out of there, how much do you think you paid for the ties?
A couple $100 each.
So now we have our expert. We can ask him how you did.
I do remember your face.
You came to Cal Arts to talk to us about recruiting artists for your museum, so it's great to see you realize your dream, and what an honor to see the museum and to be on this. This is going to be Superman history we're making.
Been collecting for all my life since I was 5 years old.
You have the biggest Superman collection in the world.
Yeah.
The work he has done assembling this collection is fantastic. This is the greatest collection of Superman, ranging from the early days of the comics to Kirk Allen's Superman all the way up to modern times. Batman should be very jealous. And you are the only person that I know of that has George Reeves' Clark Kent related wardrobe.
Well, I've got his glasses too.
I've heard that story. I think that's fantastic. Have you been able to identify the ties specifically to maybe an episode, or is it one that he wears often in the show?
They only had 3, Lois Lane only had 3 outfits.
Right.
They would do several TV shows at one time.
So in other words, the George Reeves ties that you had were probably worn all the time on the show as Clark Kent then?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were frequently used.
How much do you think the ties will be worth today?
I would think that because these are the only known examples of George Reeves' wardrobe that's in the Super Museum, I think that they easily would be worth, $200 to $2,500 each, and which I think is pretty good for a tie.
We've been very fortunate in people believing in that, because this is going to be here. Well, of course, my daughter here. This is going to be long after I'm gone. If Superman can help children in real life He can help others by representing what's good, and so there's a lot more to it than just a guy with a collection wanting to put it on display.
People do ask me all the time who my favorite Superman is, and I say that it's my dad, because he assembled this museum and it brings so many people happiness. And it's just so special that we get to do this as a family and that we get to stay together.
So I have a question. So I'm definitely going to bring my 8-year-old stepson to the Super Museum. But before that, I want to really introduce him to Superman. So what should I start with? Should I start with the Superman movie? Should I start with the television show? What's a good place to start?
Always start with the television show. It's very apparent that people love George.
Share your collection with us at collectorscalltv.com.